Pat just disappeared. We're in the midst of some deep UFC talk for tonight. Because tonight is UFC night. Pat, if you could play the UFC night music, that would be very nice and very fitting for what I'm saying. Yes.
Was it UFC 729?
You have close. UFC 298.
Crazy.
It's being headlined by Alex Volkanovski and Ilya Topuria, both undefeated in the featherweight division rather. So it's going to be a big one with that. Ilya Topuria, he's kind of like this up and comer versus Alex Volkanovski. He's been like the reigning champ in that division for like 3-4 years now. Lovable. People really like this guy. He's one of my favorites. But it's people are saying that this could be one of his more formidable opponents. It's my heart races when Alex Volkanovski is in the octagon, man. It gets wild.
So does he like hurt people really bad? So your heart rate is in a good way? Is that why?
Well, suspension because I like him as a person, as a fighter, as a champion, and you're in there in a very combative situation and versus very deadly guys. So yeah, my heart raced a little bit because like, oh wow, you're really you're doing good, but any sort of moment could like end this sort of thing. So it's suspense. My heart rate's in suspense.
Well, you're going to you guys don't know Kirk goes to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch UFC, so that's where you're going tonight?
I'm going Buffalo Wild Wings. I may hit up the Downingtown branch tonight. Property Ebonics. Welcome to Property Ebonics. Property Ebonics.
We're in the building.
We're in the building,
You got,
man. You're in the Spencers right now.
I know, man. I told you my daughter's got these lights in their room. They like the lights, and it makes my podcasting setup look authentic. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like I really be on my dad tip. So it's like, yeah, you see like scarves and dresses and stuff. This is what it is. This is my life, bro. So yeah.
Yeah, dresses, you got used tissues, some kids. You're like one purple light removed from being in a hookah lounge right now.
It's funny because I seen a video online talking about how hookah culture is like unhealthy, and it was like y'all didn't know that. Yeah, yeah. It was
It's-
smoking
You mean
charcoal out of
when you
plastic.
inhale charcoal infused with pineapple, you're telling me that's bad for your lungs?
I mean, and in a closed building where there's also 20 other people smoking too. Oh, you don't say.
It's it's very
Yeah.
social.
So my kids aren't hookah and they're not into hookahs. I mean, what's crazy though? Kids nowadays, kids vaping crazy, yo. You know that?
Yeah. It's
Mm-hmm.
wait, have you is your daughters, especially your older one, gotten to the age where it's like, oh man, what if I see her in the corner of the street with a vape pen?
Dog, my youngest daughter told me she be seeing kids in school in the bathroom smoking vapes.
Nice. I
Like
mean,
she's 12.
bad. Yeah.
And she's 12 years old. You know what I mean? So it's like,
What's worse
yeah.
though? Because like, all right, kids vaping now versus like when we were younger, we go in the bathroom, we were getting stone cold stunners. I'd walk in the bathroom just unsolicited, people would kick me in my stomach and then go for the choke, land on the pile driver, and that sucked too. So I don't know what's worse.
Maybe bullying, because that's what that sounds like. That doesn't. I think
Yeah,
vape. The people that were kicking you were probably smoking something else other than vapes.
it's maybe they're smoking in celebration afterwards. They're cracking open a beer, doing it all those. Um, yeah, well, I hear the vapes can be kind of wild, and they're very. You go to like a Wawa or any sort of like store now, they crack down next to the vapes. Like you definitely have to be 18. Before we were just kind of half joking around. You have to be above 18 before we sell you this jewel.
Now they have. I be seeing signs on a that says like try your vape out now because you can't return it. So like I guess vape be breaking, so people like want to return them. But like, no, once it's yours, it's yours. It's like underwear. I don't know. Like,
That's yeah, so if you're thinking about that would be wild to kind of return something that you put in your mouth, sort of thing like that. Like it reminds me, I when I was like maybe 19 or something like that. You remember FYE, the record shop?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I went there and I got a Girls Gone Wild Best Breast Ever Volume 3. And and I hadn't opened it. I hadn't opened it. and I was just kind of an impulse buy, and I had previously had volume one and two. And then I remember for whatever reason being like, I don't really need this. I don't really need this. I have volume one and two and other assortments. I'm gonna go to FYE and return this Girls Gone Wild volume three. I'm gonna get my money back, get $20 back, use it on some candy instead. And the cashier, they were bothered that they did not like that I brought that back to the counter. Like they were like disgusted. Uh,
Yeah, they probably thought it was used.
That's the thing though. It was still wrapped. Like it was still like, I don't know. That's kind of, I guess I could have like wrapped it myself afterwards, which would have been pretty elaborate. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was it occurred to me as I was trying to do the return of like, oh yeah, that makes sense why they wouldn't do a return on this. That totally checks out. But I still remember the disgust on that cashier's face.
So we're not going to just shoot past the original thing here of you going to FYE
Yeah.
to buy multiple Girls Gone Wild DVDs, bro. Like, that's insane. Nobody
Yeah.
actually did that. You're the only person I ever heard actually buy one, let alone physical one in person. Like you didn't even order it. Like
Yeah.
you was like, no, I want y'all to see this face
I
buying
need
this.
to, I need to see the back of the details. I need to get the specs. I need to know how many minutes are in there.
He wanted the
I
credits.
need I want to take advantage of bundle deals. No,
Oh yeah.
in truthfulness, I did order one and two because at the time it was before I was 18. This time I was after 18. I was like, oh, good. I could just cut the middleman out and go straight to FYE. But yeah, my heart just wasn't as into it.
Most people, when they were legally able to go to the store and buy these things, instead of doing that, they just like met women in real life. Kirk was like, no, 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 no. I want to see this. I don't want to go get the college experience in person. I want to watch it on TV.
Yeah, it was most definitely I was part of it. It's around that time I would have been what Montgomery County Community College, trying to chat up people in the yoga class, talking to Saxby's Cafe artistas, and sometimes it wouldn't necessarily go the way that I desired, but the safety net, Girls Gone Wild. That's ridiculous.
Oh, that's hilarious. I'm glad they shamed you and made you feel bad for trying to return that because you shouldn't have bought it in the first place.
You're saying you've never bought any sort of like physical copies of whether it be Girls Gone Wild or celebrations of the female body?
The only physical copies of erotica that I've ever gotten, I got the old fashioned way from my stepdad. Like I stole it from him. Like I
Okay.
was I would not buy like any like no yeah you find porn, you don't buy porn. This is America,
So
it's not Russia.
I've always wondered about this whole fine porn thing. All right, so in my household there was no like dudes around, or my brother, and he's gay. So I found some like jock straps and like a few like how to when it came to like kind of like gay arrangements, which is cool and all that stuff, but didn't really do it for me. So I didn't really have the opportunity to like, I guess they say go in the woods. I've gone in the woods plenty of times. I've been in the woods so many times. I've never come across any sort of like hustler or pornographic images in the woods. But apparently it's a very common thing
Not even
for
like a
fellas.
magazine.
That's what I'm saying. No, you're like not even a magazine. No, no, no magazines, no subscriptions, no lube. I've condoms, used condoms I've come across in the woods, and I don't want to touch that. So I never really found too much porn. So I had to rely on Amazon.
Wow, Jeff Bezos is is been there with you from masturbating for a long time now. It's
Yeah, he's got me through some times and all that stuff, man. I don't know if he's always been the owner of Amazon. It could have been like if you told me like Justin Timberlake was the owner of Amazon for the first like 5 years, I'd be like, didn't know that. So could be
you know
plausible.
the Amazon story. You know he started in like a garage, right? Isn't that how it happened?
I didn't
Yeah,
read the book. No, I didn't know if like he sold like someone sold it to him. Did he start Amazon?
pretty sure.
Damn, that's what's up.
It kind of started out as like a book company. They were just selling books at
I
first.
think that's true. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
part is true. Are you reading like entrepreneur books? That's wild. That's
No, I just thought that was. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Like he started out in the garage. I seen it online, like on Twitter and stuff. Like I just figured that he's always been the owner. Like I didn't think that
oh,
anybody. No, yeah,
yeah,
but
you're tapped into the culture.
yeah,
Entrepreneur
I
guys,
mean,
guys.
I may be a little tapped. It's a, like, I can't read it, but I do know that. Yeah, I just think that it's interesting that you actually bought girls going wild, and you never found anything in the woods. But I guess that's just, but it makes sense though. If you don't grow up in a if you don't have an adult male figure in your house, I never thought about that. So like you don't have a male figure in the house, like yeah, you got to go to other lengths to get your erotica.
I gotta go to my friend's place and hang out with their dad, and then sneak into that cabin and then get Ebony Sugar Volume 6. It's I did so I want to put a little asterisk on it. It's like my stepdad was in the household by the time I was like 15 and such. I never searched around for his well, for his porn sort of thing like that. We had a rough relationship in the towards the kind of the middle part of things. So I never really looked around too much, but
Yeah.
that's the importance of having a good rapport with your step parent. You may be able to find little gems, and by gems, you know what I mean.
My stepdad, my second one, he used to hide the stuff in my room.
Damn.
Like, and I didn't realize it at first. I was like, one time I had found like under my mattress, like, what? It was like a magazine. Then I would find like movies like in my closet. I'm like, bro, you wilding. Why you hiding it from my mom in my room? Like,
Well, so was it, was he hiding it from your mom, or was he like, hey, Alan, welcome to manhood. Here's some pornographic movies and also Ghostbusters. Was it anything like that, or
he was hiding it. Because why else would it? I can't see him trying to. If he wanted to show me this stuff, he would just show it to me, not hide it in my closet. Like I'm cleaning up, and I just see like big booty round mound part three. It's like what? You know what I mean?
damn?
Like
That's that because that's a trope as well of just very much like oh, welcome to manhood. Like instead of having the talk, I'm gonna give you pornographic magazines. My one of my mom's boyfriends did that. I would have been like probably like 10. This dude, I won't give him a shout out. I'm not gonna give Greg a shout out. Greg, he got me like one of those biker women magazines. I guess because I had been watching wrestling and there was like a scene where one of the wrestlers she had like flashed her breasts, and we were all watching this together. And then from that, he was like, "Oh, Kirk's fascinated with the female body," and it got me a Bikers Gone Wild magazine, and gave it to me in front of like my mom and brother. And
whoa,
I was 10, so I didn't like see it as like weird. I was like, cool. All right, nice. I'll go check this out a little bit, see what's going on there. I like some of those images. I want to say maybe 3 days later, the magazine was gone. So I'm pretty sure my mom was like, yeah, don't do that. But sometimes adult figures, men in particular, may do that. Producer Pat says Kirk is a big gone wild guy from the way. Yeah, I am.
you've been in the mix since you were 10.
Uh, between I would say the introduction would have been HBO's Real Sex.
Mhm. I say this, I've said it publicly. HBO's Real Sex raised our whole generation.
Yeah.
Like we all watched that and learned stuff from that. Like, yeah, you
Yeah.
were 90s, growing up in the 90s, yeah, they raised a whole bunch of us.
It's
Like,
wild because they took that off like their HBO catalog. Like if you go on Max, you can't find Real Sex.
bro, why are you looking for Real Sex?
Bro, I've been deep diving for Real Sex.
We're
It's
going, he over here at FYE. You guys have Real Sex?
I wish. No, well, the thing about Real Sex, and for those of you that may not know, some of you grew up in different generations and all that stuff, Real Sex was a docu-series on HBO that had nudity, but it wasn't necessarily pornographic. What they would do is go into different sexual communities, whether that be swingers conventions, cooking classes in the nude.
Prostitutes.
Yes, brothels, which they later made onto a show. I think it's called like the Bunny Ranch in Nevada. It was a whole thing. And they really dived into culture of sex. And at the time, 90s, it was seen as somewhat taboo because it was showing on HBO. A lot of people had HBO. And it was educational in a lot of ways, but also if you're a little bit younger, a little sexy. So yeah, I would love to go back and watch some Real Sex for educational purposes.
Or Kurt, you can just Google nowadays if anything you want to know. You can find
Bro.
anything you want.
I won't monopolize the conversation with my searches for Real Sex, but yeah, I've done it. And there's a whole article on HBO purposely removing Real Sex from their catalog. And
Oh no, why?
so that's the thing. They never like flat out said why they did it, but there's theories sort of thing in terms of how HBO is trying to format themselves and what they show. I think on like if you watch the HBO channels, they don't play anything like that late at night anymore, which is a real shame for the people growing up.
I mean, they got internet now. You just get on your phone and do whatever you want.
The internet's see that it's too much with that. Like we should really do a serious episode on pornography, man. Because imagine if you're like what 13, you're curious about that, and your introduction to like sexual images are just people like raw dogging, spitting on each other, flipping people on trampolines. I don't know what they're doing in some of the websites. Versus like us, we had like a little bit more like, oh, here's a boutique magazine. Oh, here's some real sex. There's a stripper named Candy. There's things like that. I feel like we got a softer segue and perhaps a more
Feel
realistic
like
segue.
I feel like our generation was the first hard, like we were the first people that can like get on. We had internet coming up. Like we
Yeah,
could like get on the internet. We can Google things. We were the first generation to like be able to go and get like X rated really early. Like
at an
when my
X-rays.
dad when my dad was like 15, in like 1981 or something like that, whatever it was. Yeah, you couldn't Google. You only got what they showed you on TV, or
Hmm.
you know what I mean. So it's like, yeah, like I feel like there was a lot of spitting and weird things that we were learning about too that we probably shouldn't have. We should have just been learning about in health class, but we could just get on LimeWire and download whatever we want. You know what I mean? So it's like,
It's it's just really confused family computer. Yeah, no, that's
my
yeah.
stepmom used to be like, my stepmom would be like, "Why is the computer so slow?"
Oh man. Yeah, no, it's very real observation. We were the first to be able to really look into things. I remember, yeah, there was just like looking into like not even sometimes not even intentionally, but just finding stuff where it's like, holy smokes, this is I would say the difference though is that we had kind of like when you talk about internet culture as a whole, like how or before cell phones, we had that experience prior. Like we were able to play outside sort of thing. Just like with this, we were able to look at some of the like how your stepdad was like, oh, whatever you could find, like oh, Baywatch is on TV or real sex, and
Yeah,
have that part of it be our introduction. And then later on be able to like if we wanted to search in like double fisting, blah blah blah, all that stuff. I didn't look that up. That was never my thing. I want to make that clear for the record. I never looked that up. But if you're a kid and you're like, oh, what is this? And that's your introduction, I feel like that's kind of gets a little wild.
it can get wild, man. It can get wild. So they ain't got HBO like they used to have it, so kids can just ease their way into learning about hookers and johns. But,
Uh, Shut that very sound. Yeah,
they got every
I hope the kids are staying safe, particularly when it comes to the vapes and all that stuff. I know I like how vapes got us into a conversation of real sex and finding porn in the woods. But yeah, I hope the kids are keeping safe like that, man. And I hope the kids are also kind of keeping things measured when it comes to the idea of what's being fed to them in their algorithms. Because I know in my algorithm this week, there was a lot of talk, not only just as a Super Bowl which I want to touch base on, but the Super Bowl conspiracy theory. Have you heard any conspiracy theories about the Super Bowl and Taylor Swift's involvement in the Super Bowl?
about the Super Bowl being rigged.
Yes, to an extent, yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with. I don't think sports is rigged. I played sports how hard it is. You can't you can't say sports is rigged. People be losing their lives. They're like they be breaking bones and hurting themselves, and it's not. I don't think it's rigged. The Taylor Swift thing was annoying to see her every 5 seconds, but like I didn't really put it in too much. I really like I'm a real football fan, right? So like if it ain't really about football, like I try not to even I don't whatever. Who cares? They're gonna show a white woman on the screen at some point. Who cares if it's Taylor Swift? Like I don't know. Like I didn't really get into the I don't know. I'm not yeah. So tell me what you've been seeing. What have you been seeing?
They did a few shots of people in the crowd. I saw Tay Diggs. I was like, very cool. I didn't actually see Tay Diggs. But yeah, so there's a whole idea that, particularly amongst the conservative community, and I won't restrict the conservative community. I think it's radical thinking people that are pushing the idea that uh, that Taylor Swift's involvement in NFL is what they call a psyop, a psychological operation, to endorse Joe Biden for the reelection coming up this year. The concept is that Taylor Swift is a very liberal-minded person, along with the Chiefs player Travis Kelce. What is he, a running back?
He's a tight end.
Tight end. That's a wild title. So with he does the vaccine commercials, and from that it aligns them with a more left leaning side of things in these people's eyes. So there's the idea that pretty much the whole Super Bowl was rigged, maybe by referees, maybe by whatever it may be, in order for Taylor Swift to then go on to the grandest stage of sports media and make
Uh-huh.
an endorsement for President Joe Biden. Um, and as you could see, I don't want to spoil anyone from now to see the Super Bowl. That didn't happen. That didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a few shots to Taylor Swift through thing, which personally I didn't. I'm kind of like whatever. I'm not
Yeah.
really like a sports person or NFL person that much,
Yeah.
but I could recognize like, oh, all right, she's like her presence is pretty big for a lot of the casual viewers sort of thing. It didn't feel like it was too much, but I could see how that would feel that way for like avid football watchers. Um, yeah, it felt like it was just a game with a lot of celebrities. With I don't think anything was rigged. I think it's very hard to do something like that.
Yeah. I think it's crazy that your timeline is wild, bro. Like,
Tell me
speaking of
about it.
algorithms, like I didn't know, what? They don't even make it like, I don't have any, I do have conservatives because I have white comedians that I'm friends with on Facebook, but other than that, like they won't say anything ridiculous like that. Like you
It's out there,
Taylor
man.
Swift is there to endorse. So you mean tell me Travis Kelsey in week, I don't know, 6 or whatever it was, talked about how he thought Taylor Swift was hot, then he bagged Taylor Swift. So you think that this man bagged Taylor Swift and like altered his whole life so she can? How did he know he's gonna be in the Super Bowl? How did, like, it's just dumb. It's just dumb to endorse Joe Biden, who's probably gonna lose anyway. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, that's so
It's
dumb.
it's the workings of Dr. Fauci. Dr. I don't know if that's going to get us pulled, but that's the whole idea of that is very much I think it's ridiculous. I think like most conspiracies, it's very much you latch on to something that you know is going to get traction for your agenda. And Taylor Swift being a very notable name and Super Bowl being a very notable event. Yeah, I think it's very easy to draw the line of like, okay, well, this equals this. And now they're trying to get us vaccinated. I feel like that's very much the threat of it. So I'm not surprised. I
We're
think
done with
it's
the vaccine, ain't we? Ain't we done with the vaccine?
what like they're telling people not to get the vaccine? What do you mean?
Are we still people still getting it?
I think so. Yeah, I think there's like boosters and all that stuff. I haven't gotten one since 2021, but between like different variants and like they have like different volumes of it. It's like now that's why I call it music. Every year they pump something new out. And then yeah, it's one of the new hits.
It's on top of the charts right now, man. It's like I I think that the COVID. And I said this before on here. COVID is like just like the flu now.
Yeah, in a lot of ways,
Like,
yeah. It's in terms of the
yeah,
commonality of it.
yeah. Like some people you get sick, but like not fatal. It's not really like fatal unless you already got something. You know what I mean? Like it's like the flu. So it's like to think that where's the flu agenda? Did Travis Kelsey go with Taylor Swift for the flu agenda? Like no. Like what are we talking about? Like it's not. It's dumb. No common cold conspiracy. No.
There's no psyop for H1N1. There is nothing like that. That's
Yeah. Like
and true. If we look at statistics, the flu is still doing numbers out there.
yeah.
Flu is still doing crazy numbers, and that's you're right. There's no like agenda against the flu shot. So yeah, that's a very good point. Perhaps in the next Super Bowl. When you were watching, did were you rooting for the Chiefs or 49ers? Were you indifferent?
I was rooting for the Chiefs for 2 reasons. I don't like the 49ers because they're in the NFC and the Eagles are in the NFC, so we play against them and yeah, it's just
Oh.
it's the Eagles. And then the Chiefs coach Andy Reid is the old coach of the Eagles
Oh
for
yeah.
like 8 years. So I like Andy Reid. So when he gets to win, I'm happy for him. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was the 2 reasons. Yeah, I want the Chiefs to win. What did you
Yeah.
think
Did
about Usher?
he? Oh yeah. Usher was cool. He did a really good performance. I was watching kind of like half and half, and like he came on, and I thought he was solid. It was like that's what you would
But
want. What do you mean, but?
I feel like there's a but coming.
No, there's no but. No, I think that was a solid performance that you would want for a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like I feel like shout out to Rihanna, she's great. Her last Super Bowl performance, it was kind of subdued, and rightfully so. She was pregnant, but it was very much like just I'm singing and dancing. Usher, on the other hand, he brought out the medley of hits. He did dancing. He rollerbladed. He had guests out. It was like and it made me realize too, like when they said the 20th anniversary, I was like, holy smokes, Confessions came out 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That part's I was a little like, for whatever reason, that was like a little surprising for me. I was like, oh my gosh, that was like Girls Gone Wild Volume One back time. That was a while back. Um,
Made you
when
feel old.
if for usually that stuff never makes me feel old, and I can't say it made me feel like physically old, but it made
Yeah,
me
yeah,
recognize like, oh, there's a passage of time. Oh my gosh, that was I remember like I wasn't like a kid when that came out. I was a kid, but
yeah.
I was like a full functioning thinking person. Um, the Alicia Keys when she came out, I was like, oh yeah, that's cool that Alicia Keys is there. And then when they started doing My Boo, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that this was like a song. I forgot they have a major song together. It was good. What did you think about it, and what did you think of the overall performance?
Oh man, I thought it was excellent. It was one of the best that I can remember that I can remember, you know.
Hmm.
It was really good. Like all the songs I was home by myself. So I'm singing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had a grand old time. And they brought my man Luda. Watch out,
Uh,
the outfit's ridiculous. In the club looking so conspicuous. And wow, these women
yeah.
all over. Yo, man,
I thought
dog,
they're. I'm always surprised whenever they don't bleep out the "if you hold the head steady, I'm gonna milk the cow." I'm like, holy shit! How do you guys just have that on air? Like every time I hear that on the radio or on like national TV, I'm like, that's. I feel like that's a wild lyric, but they put it in there.
if you don't think about it, though, it's not a curse word, but if you're not listening to like, oh, the heads that he milk the cow.
It's such a wild lyric. That's one of the wildest lyrics in a pop song. It never gets bleeped out.
So good. But him, Lil John, Jermaine Dupri, it was all good, man. I enjoyed the
Yeah,
whole
no,
thing. I was
I, I thought Jermaine Dupri was CeeLo when I was first watching it. I was like, oh, they brought CeeLo out, and then I like, maybe a minute or two later, I was like, oh wait, no, that's Jermaine Dupri, and it makes more sense. But I think CeeLo's is he also from Atlanta?
yeah.
All right, so I was like, yeah, that makes sense at the time, but yeah, it was definitely Jermaine Dupri.
I thought I seen CeeLo like two different times. I was like, is that CeeLo? Is that
Ball
I
black
don't know.
dude,
It
they
was
run
it
the
was
risk of being CeeLo every time.
when you put glasses on, you can't see like this part. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm not sure which short fat black guy that is, you know. So
Did you see the what people were saying about Usher and Alicia Keys and like kind of like them being bundled up and such? Did you have any thoughts on that?
while it was happening, I was having thoughts. While it was happening, I was like, he kept like touching her, and I was like, okay. But then he like grabbed her and hugged. I was like, oh, I get the performance, right? I get it, right? All right, look,
Yeah.
I get it, but I don't want to seem like a prude. I get it, but like I've seen plenty of performances where like it didn't look like that.
It's yeah, that's yeah, no, it was definitely like because it's for like with the song you think My Boo, it's
Yeah,
20 years out and all that stuff. So contextually, but Usher has a track record. Usher has a
yeah.
bit of a track record where it's like, all right, Usher, like take it easy. Like maybe a pat on the back. Like
Don't leave your girl around me. You know,
he's been warning us since he was like 15.
true player for real. You know.
I was like, yo, Swiss needs to come out. We need Swissy out right now.
What? How do you think Swiss felt?
Uh, I feel like when you're at that, I won't necessarily say at that magnitude, but it depends on really their relationship sort of thing.
Yeah.
And if it's a very secure thing and they recognize they're entertainers and like he's like, oh, it's Alicia, that's my wife, and like it's a performance. I don't know. I don't know Swiss Beats, and there's such a variety of how he could feel. He could probably feel he may feel also like, oh, that sucks being an internet meme and being poked fun at sort of thing. So I don't know. We got to ask Jadakiss.
He
Jadakiss has the real
responded.
pick. Really, Swiss Beats responded.
Yeah, he put a quote out or some to the effect of what you said though. Like we superstars out here. I mean, like so we doing. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't like worried about it. Like, she's performing. She Alicia Keys. It's Usher. Like what are you talking about? You
Hmm.
know. So
Well,
I get
good
it.
on Swiss Beats. Yeah, I think his voice was played on one of the commercials. Like there's Swiss Beats' voice. You just hear it in random commercials where it's like he'll produce a beat, they'll play a commercial, then you'll just hear like some. I was like, oh, that's Swiss Beats. So he was his presence
Showtime.
there. Yeah, I never.
He played Showtime.
It's so yeah, overall it was a solid show. And I'm not an avid watcher, but I did watch intently for the game, and it got very tense. It was a very good game. I think they
Yeah,
said this is like one of the only the seventh time that it's gone into overtime at the Super Bowl. And I think, yeah, I think it was cool to be able to appreciate it and like get riled up, or not even riled up, but like very invested in a
yeah,
game. So I enjoyed it.
yeah. No, it was a good game. It was all around good Sunday. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
What'd you say?
I have something in mind that's kind of loosely attached to Super Bowl, but I don't know if you have something else.
No, go ahead.
I ended up getting a conversation with the dip about this of like, and I'm curious your thoughts on it. Um, what is your, I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase this. Uh, so obviously, so say like we have like people out there, celebrities, we even use the term like superstars just now and all that. Um, we were having a conversation about Usher getting married because I guess Usher got married after Super Bowl, and as someone we were like, oh, like who's the person? And I think she had phrased it as something along the lines of like, oh, she's just a regular person, sort of thing. And then it led to a conversation of like uh celebrities, are they put on a certain pedestal, um or and what's the idea of like labeling people as regular, and is that in any way a demeaning term in relation to celebrities? Is it like a um is it kind of like an emphasis on what Western's culture of celebrity obsession? And is it, if you say someone is like just regular, is that demeaning? Like, I'm trying to think of this way. Like if someone
Yeah,
called you regular, which she did not call me regular, but like if someone called you regular, how would you feel about that as a performer?
it depends on the context.
Hmm.
So somebody's like, there's Dave Chappelle, and then there's Alan Massenberg. He's a regular comedian. Like, I get it. Like, I'm not a famous comedian. So, for like Usher. So if we go, Usher's married to a regular person, that just means she's not Usher. She's not famous, but she's not a regular person. She's not like working at Sephora. You know what I mean? She's not like she's like in the business and is doing moving and shaking and doing things. She's just not famous. So it's all the context. So it's like to an open mic comedian, I'm not just a regular comedian, but like to Dave Chappelle, I'm a regular comedian. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Right.
it just depends on the context. You know, I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, I think um I go back to Crime and Punishment, the idea of like the emphasis to be an extraordinary versus regular, and how that was kind of like the a big point of contention for our protagonist, Raskolnikov. Yeah, admittedly, I again I was not called this in any way, but like but I'm not above it. I find I don't like being referred to as regular. I find that
Why do you
it's
think that is?
uh, I think I put emphasis on, and not saying that like this is, sounds ridiculous thing, maybe as I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, oh, but yeah, I think I'm not saying I'm definitely not a famous person. However, uh, I think I do a lot of out of the box type stuff in terms of my way of life and lifestyle. Uh, and something about the term regular, for me, when I think about myself, feels depressing. The idea of like, oh, you're
Mm,
just like a regular person, where it's like, oh, I feel like there's a lot of, and many people, not just myself, but like many people conduct themselves in a way that's thinking outside the box and are intentional in how they do that, to make sure that they're not seen as the status quo or the standard, not just in like what they do as hobbies, but how they conduct themselves and how they communicate. So I think even as a kid, that always kind of bummed me out. And I don't know if it's like a performance thing, if you also have that, or maybe I'm being extra sensitive.
I
But
think I know I'm not regular, right? I've always been different. I've always been called weird. I've always been different. So for me, sometimes when somebody calls me regular, it's kind of like, okay, I'm not like too far off. You know what I mean? So
you're
it's like
right. It's
I am regular. Thanks, man. I knew I wasn't crazy. Like sometimes, so yeah, I don't think I look at it as like, man, I work so hard to be different. So when you call me regular, I feel type of way. It's like, no, I know I'm just different. I know that.
Right.
So when you call me regular, it's just like it's kind of I'm not. Yeah, it makes me feel good. It's like, okay, I know I'm not too far out of the norm. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, that's a good way of phrasing it too, man. Yeah, and I think it mainly it struck conversation, and then I was like, oh crap. Even as I'm saying now, I'm like, oh, is this? I hate to use this term, so I won't. I was about to use a term that I hate using, and I was like, wait, I have the power to not use it, so I didn't.
say it,
Feels good.
say it.
That's, um, yeah, so I definitely get that part. And yeah, I was just curious to hear your thoughts on the idea of like regular versus extraordinary versus celebrityism.
Yeah, I feel like 20 years from now, I know I'm going to be searching and grasping just to be regular.
Right.
Um, so it's like even for Usher's wife, yeah. So if you call her regular, she's probably like, yes, I just want a regular life. My husband's Usher. You know what I mean? Like I want to be regular. Thank you for calling me. So it just
I
depends. Just depends.
hear that, man. I hear that.
It depends. Speaking of regular comedians, they put out the lineup for the Netflix is a Joke Festival.
Oh,
Have you
cool.
seen that go?
No, I've
Have you seen
not.
that go? What is up with your timeline?
I'm
You
getting.
don't see festival
I wish I was. I'm getting some nonsense on my timeline. This so they released like the lineup.
lineup for Netflix is a Joke Festival in LA in May. It's turning in Netflix is a Joke is turning into like one of those festivals like JFL,
Yeah.
one of those very important festivals. Got all the heavy hitters on it. I see a lot of my friends are doing it, which I was happy to see. Yeah, so it was cool to see. But then I also so what they do was Netflix give you a little picture with your name on it. Netflix is a joke.
Hmm.
And it says the dates and where you're performing and stuff like that. And then you can go on their website and like see all the comedians and stuff. So there was one comedian that put up a picture, and people were questioning like, "You on Netflix as a joke?" What? People were going to the website and did not see this guy's picture on the
Oh.
website, bro.
Huh. Wait. So they're on their personal account. They had the template for the Netflix thing, and they're saying, "I'm gonna be there. We outside." And then people are like, "Huh,
Bro,
this looks kind of questionable." And are they on the lineup?
they not on the lineup, bro.
Oh,
I checked. My man made his own flyer, bro. He got 100 something comments congratulating him.
wow. What do you think? Oh, you don't have to reveal this person, but is this someone you know?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. God damn it, Kyle Neff. It's um that what do you think his intentions were?
I think he is a prisoner of comparison. Because he see all his friends doing it and he feels type of way, like, oh, I should be there. Yeah, I think he's just like grasping for straws and just trying to. So we're in comedy, right? I'm realizing that I'm deeper I get into it, bro. I'm going on my ninth year. Like that's crazy to me because next year I'll be going on to my 10th.
Yeah.
So it's like when I feel like, and I feel like 10 is the year where you kind of can see what's going on. Like you see where you're going.
Hmm.
And if you're not happy with it, comedy will hurt you. Like you will be reaching and doing things that are weird to like
Mm.
make it seem like you're doing what you
Year 10, that's when you start like using Photoshop. Like that's when you may start getting into that.
there it is. Year 10, you can Photoshop your name into the marquee at Madison Square Garden. That's what you can do. You can
It's only 20 likes. That's that's why so after it seems like it's determined now by a lot of people that this is a fraudulent claim. Has the person taken it down? Or are people commenting on that? Or what do you think the move is for that?
taking it down should have I would hope he goes and be like, yo, this is just a joke I'm playing.
Right.
Um, but I ain't see it. No, it's still there. It's still there. Say, God, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. The caption
Yeah.
of his,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, he's going to hell. The caption says, God be working. It says,
Uh,
see y'all in May.
sheesh.
I
If
said,
you could
whoa.
forward that over to me, I'm very curious.
You already know I'm gonna show you this, bro. This is literally the funniest. I didn't even know I seen it. I had seen it myself, and I ain't gonna even lie. When I first seen it, I was like, okay. But then somebody else mentioned it, and I was like, I knew I wasn't tripping. Yo,
Is it a Pennsylvania person, New York person?
no, New Yorkish.
Okay. Huh. That's a wild move. Well, there's a whole concept.
All right, look, real quick. A minute ago, my homie left a comment a minute ago. Yo, this is so good. He goes, congrats, fam. Looked for you on the site. I'll be out there that week. Which days and theaters are you taping at?
Ooh, all right, doing some investigative, some digging right there.
I love comedy drama.
Oh, that's a wild move, man. There's the idea of like fake it till you make it sort of thing. What I wonder if his thing is like, yo, get this, get a lot of traction. Netflix is definitely going to be like, hey, there's someone out there saying that they're going to be on this, and they're not on it, and then it kind of just like draws a lot of eyes to the person. Do you think they're aiming for something like that?
Bro, I think they are frantically grasping for straws to make it seem like they're doing. I'm telling you, once you get over this 10-year thing,
Mm,
your friends start I'm telling I know 10, 15 people on the festival, like personally. You know what
mm,
I mean? So it's like when your friends start getting things and you not feeling like you moving how you should move,
mm.
you get desperate, you know?
Huh. Yeah, no, I guess for some people that could be the case. That is a wild one because I don't know what the end game would be with that. Like you can't do that for like a sport. You can't do that for like NBA of like, hey guys, I've made it on. I'm on the Mavericks. Like people are gonna understand, like, oh, you're clearly not on the Mavericks. And it's same case for this one. Um, I'm very curious to one, see if I know the person. But I'd be curious to see on that post in particular how they navigate this because this could either be like if they flip around like, oh, this is a joke, then all right, a little weird, but sure. But this could also be like I feel like there's a lot of trust when it comes into when you're doing comedy and all that stuff, and like when you go and see that person and recognize like, oh, I they did some fraudulent stuff, it could impact the comedy too. So very curious to see what the next moves are.
Bro, this is crazy. He put up his flyer, he put up his schedule for like the next half of the year, like his dates. He got it on his dates.
Oh
Bro,
wow. Is he
it ain't on there,
manifesting?
bro.
He's manifesting.
He doing something, but it ain't performing at nothing as a joke.
It's
Comedy festivals, man. I love it.
uh,
I say this too. I say this too. Only like 6% of comedy festivals are worth it. Like,
hmm.
I think that comedians spend a lot of money and spend a lot of time on comedy festivals that are pointless. And I really believe that. Like, there's only like a couple that you should be spending your money on. And,
Because it
you
does
know,
cost money to actually like to submit a lot of times. And it could like be in like in the hundreds on a few occasions, especially if you don't have like a manager.
so what it is like even just the smaller ones. So for the people that's not comedians listening to this, what a comedy festival is, it's a festival with a bunch of comedians performing shows. But in order to get to some of these festivals, you have to submit a video. You got to pay to submit a video, and then if you get accepted, normally they don't pay for room and board. They don't pay for a flight, so you got to get there and provide most of the time for your own lodging. Um, Most of the shows are unpaid.
Yeah.
Like
It really is
most
the
festivals.
exposure of that when we joke about that sometimes are for like local shows such, but like those sort of shows, their whole idea is like, oh yeah, you're getting exposed to a bunch of different comedy producers and such, which is valid.
Cool. You're exposing me to people. I appreciate that. But if there are nobody you're exposing me to for real there, it's a scam.
Yeah.
Scam. I could have performed at my hometown at open mics for free.
Yeah.
Could have
Have
made
you-
money at a different show this weekend. I could have got a couple $100 at a show, but you want me to spend 4 or 5 days in an unknown city, not getting paid. Like a lot of them are scams. There's a few there's some good ones out there, but a lot of them are scams, bro. And I'm telling you, $40 for a submission fee. You know, I not even, bro. I submitted the festival before with a video, a link video to a YouTube that had 0 views. I got denied for a festival, but they never even watched my video. It
Yeah.
still had 0 views. It still had 0 views. But you charge me for this? Come on, man.
That's hard. Did you I did see And if this is too spicy, we get to cut it out and all that stuff. I saw that there was a Keenan Thompson luncheon. It was kind of phrased as like a festival of sorts where you submit and allegedly Keenan Thompson would be there. Did you hear anything about this?
And I be getting emails. What happens is this lady, I don't know her. I'm pretty sure she has a relationship with Ken Thompson. I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they've talked about this these shows they're doing across. So they're doing like a comedy search, I think, or
Hmm.
like I'm not even sure what they're doing, but they're going to different cities and they're just doing shows. So comedians will submit. So they'll email comedians and they reach out to people looking to perform, and they put Keenan's name on the flyer. They put Keenan's name and face on the flyer. You never
Yeah.
meet Keenan. Keenan's not there. You don't meet him. You don't get paid. So it's just another exposure thing. But you thinking you about to meet Keenan? You just did a show for nothing for some lady, and so Keenan did an interview on a Breakfast Club. The interview was like an hour long. Never mentioned this thing at all.
Oh, bummer.
You
I thought it was
doing a
gonna go the other
nation
way around. I was like,
No. You're doing a nationwide talent search, and you're on the nation's biggest black podcast thing or
like
whatever it is
platform. Yeah.
platform, and you don't mention it. That's when I was like, yo, this is bogus. I was like, yo, do not don't sign up for it. Don't sign up for it. It's
Yeah.
bogus. And then I heard that they were charging comedians $300 to be their managers. This person, because I know comedians that did this. They
Uh,
said they were charging $300 for management. What? You, it's a flat rate. It's a monthly rate for a manager.
yeah, what
Where
does
they
that
do all that?
mean? Is it an ongoing thing or yeah, I heard a little bit about that from one of the secret Facebook pages. And yeah, I looked further into it. I didn't really see anything valid. But it did look like a lot of people were considering it, which it sounds on paper, it's like, oh, okay. You enter this thing. Keenan Thompson is there. Keenan Thompson has been involved in a lot of our lives, sort of thing like that. And then it seems like it would be a good thing to do. But I think those opportunities, it's very good to look further into them because it could just be like a right hand man person or no one, someone not even involved with the individual putting it together, and you just show up and you're just doing it like in an attic somewhere. So it's good to look further into us. It's good to talk to
And
other comics too about that.
that's why them groups is important, man. They be taking advantage. These bookers and producers are taking advantage because what happens is whoever's on this show, somebody's making money somewhere.
Mm.
Nobody's doing free comedy shows. Nobody. Okay.
Mm.
Meaning that it may be unticketed. It's free entrance, but somebody's making money somewhere. Like,
Mm.
so while you doing these exposures and people got people's names on flyers, they making money and you just doing a set. You do your 10-minute set, you never hear from them again. It's not like what are we doing here? It's people taking advantage. Like I don't get free tickets. I don't get like you know what I mean. I don't get nothing to
Get no
you know.
stickers.
I don't get a lanyard. Take a lanyard.
Got to post a lanyard. It's
You know
got
what I mean? That's what you get
it's
at a comedy at a festival. They give you a nice lanyard so you get paid for
yeah.
these festivals, man.
Yeah, I think that part's pretty cool. Maybe we should do a little festival. We should do a property box festival here in Lancaster. And like, hey, we're gonna do a show and we're you gotta submit yeah with a short fee, like, $500, and we're gonna select five comics to do 2-minute sets. And yeah, I don't know, it could be profitable, get them exposure to the people in the Lancaster area and the Philadelphia area. Are you in?
We could just put Kevin Hart's face on it.
Yeah.
Kevin
It'll be
Hart maybe.
it's gonna be the old property box cover, but instead of that woman in the middle, it'll be Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I was looking at that picture the other day. Yo, that's so funny.
uh yeah, the evolution of our hair. And it's we've gone through ups and downs with our hairs.
Literally.
Yeah, man. With that, man, because I thought I just gave a very good suggestion of how we could siphon some money out of the comedy scene
You
here.
did.
But let's get into some proper suggestions. First proper suggestion. Oscar season is around, and for myself, I know a lot of people as well are watching some of the best picture nominees, some of the films that have been nominated, best actors, best actress, best cinematography. I want to recommend a movie that I watched last week that happens to be nominated for best picture. I'd like to give a recommendation for The Anatomy of a Fall. The Anatomy of a Fall. I don't know. Have you heard of this one yet?
I have not.
It's a French movie, but they're speaking French and they're also speaking English. And without giving anything away, the film is about this small family, a mother, father, and the son who is blind, and their dog. And pretty much the husband is found dead. Outside, they're in Sweden, the husband is dead. And the wife, just due to questionable circumstances of their relationship and also the scene of the death, is indicted. And pretty much the whole movie is determining through so very few flashbacks, not a lot of flashbacks, very few flashbacks, but through the court case of whether or not um, this person is guilty of the death of their husband, or if he died through various other ways. And it's exactly that, the anatomy of a fall. He takes a fall, and we get the anatomy of it, really dissect how that happened, why it happened, and did it happen. It was terrific. It was one of the better films I've seen in the last few months. Um, I've seen a few of the best picture nominees, and so far this one is the one that resonated the most. I highly recommend it.
In the movie theater?
No, no, my car was out of emission last week, so I was like in on a Saturday night, and I was like, I'm gonna rent a movie. So I Amazon rented it, and it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I watched the whole thing. Watched the whole thing, man. There's a dog in this, and I'm telling you, man, the dog acts. It's not just like here's a shot of a dog. The dog is making choices. The dog at one point has to like play. I won't spoil it, but the dog has to be sad. The dog does a brilliant job at being sad. I thought it was CGI. It wasn't. It blew me away with the stuff that this dog was doing.
Marlon Brand dog.
Come on, come on. Very
Sorry.
nice. Very nice.
Kirk said, Pat, producer Pat's a dog gone wild.
I hope this dog gets an award, man. I think it did at one of the French, like the Cannes. There's like a Pet of the Year award. I think this one got the Pet of the Year, and rightfully so.
The first winner was Airbud.
it's it's in tribute to him, yeah.
Nice.
um, so yeah, man, I highly recommend that. Let me know if you end up watching it.
All right, I'll let you know. One thing, here go my suggestion. Dope another podcast. Questlove. Questlove has a podcast. I love Questlove.
Hmm.
He had an episode with Robert Townsend that I believe is a must watch. If you
Ooh.
if you are in the entertainment business, if you love black comedy, if you love
Hmm.
comedy, it's really good, man. Robert Townsend is one of the best, man. He's like doing so many, he's impersonating, doing act outs. This guy, he was like, it was like 2 hours long. It was dope, bro. Like, so anybody, I feel like, yeah, Robert Townsend's Questlove podcast interview. Is it called Questlove Supreme? I think it is, but just Google YouTube
Hmm.
or whatever. It was really good, man.
Is this
Talking about
new?
it's new. It's like within this within the last week for sure. This episode.
I didn't know Questlove had a podcast.
Me neither. Like
Huh.
I didn't either, but I watched so many like what was I watching? Something Breakfast Club and then Sway in the morning. Then like YouTube gives suggestions. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Robert Townsend? I was like, Questlove? I was like, oh yeah, this is the go for me.
Hmm.
They talk about everything, man. Hollywood Shuffle, Eddie Murphy, Raw,
Did
Meteor
he
Man, like
he
everything.
did he direct Harlem Nights?
I don't know. They
I
didn't
think he
talk about Harlem
directed it.
Nights.
Oh, okay.
They talked
I think
about
he did.
almost everything.
Because when I think of him as director, I always think of Harlem Nights. I'm pretty sure he directed that, but definitely
It could,
Hollywood Shuffle. But like,
yeah,
huh? That's
it's a
cool though.
possibility. It's like
Yeah,
it's up his alley though. Yeah, I can see him doing that.
yeah. He did a really I'm blanking on the name of it, but he did a superhero movie for a Disney Channel movie where there are superheroes. So it was a family of superheroes, and all black family, but the one son, the protagonist, he had no superpowers. So he was like he was a regular guy in a household full of superheroes, and just him determining like his purpose as a 12-year-old in a house full of superheroes without superpowers. It was Oh, and correction, Eddie Murphy directed Harlem Nights. Forgive me. But yeah, I'm trying to think of the movie of it, but it was phenomenal. It had a Sherman, the dude who played George Jefferson,
I don't know his name.
Sherman something.
Any-
He was really good in too. But I do recommend that as well. I could see him giving a very detailed animated interview.
animated for sure. Like he like the first 2 minutes, he did like drop like 5 impressions. He was like going in. It was a really good interview, man. It was inspiring. Like I'm ready to perform tonight. I'm ready to be famous tonight. Let's go. Yeah,
Nice. That's a good
yeah.
recommendation, man. Yeah, and Sherman Helmsley. Thank you, Pat. Sherman Helmsley was the name of George Jefferson, and yeah, that's I could see that being a good interview. I may actually check that out. In terms of like performances for tonight, I don't have a show tonight, sort of thing like that. I'm going to a metal show, which is going to be wild. I'm bringing my earplugs. It's somehow I found this is like my third or fourth metal show that I'm attending. I'm not necessarily a metal fan, but that's fine. I do want to give a heads up. Last night, did a show at Turk's Head Cafe out in Westchester. Shout out to Ryan Rowe and all them. He puts a good show together. And I know you've been through this situation before, but I have not. My boss showed up. My boss at my job, they saw the flyer and then messaged me like a week ago, like, "Is that you?" And I was like, "Oh, I can't hide that. I'll bring it up if it comes up naturally. I will bring it up, but I just never go out of my way to bring it up at work." But yeah, she came out, and I was admittedly like, "All right, like at this sort of setting, it's like." I, I know it like it's gonna go well, sort of thing like that. But like I don't know if you ever had that where like maybe a particular person's coming out, usually like a family member or maybe like some sort of like peer, and you get a little bit more antsy about it. Um,
Yeah,
so I had a little bit of that, even though knowing like, all right, well, like I'm prepared, like I know what I'm doing out here. It's still a little bit of that there. It went well. It went exactly like how I
yeah,
anticipated to go, despite any sort of little angst. I think in fact, I think the angst sometimes enhances the performances because it's like, all right, I really care about this one.
yeah.
And yeah, but it went well. It was like people rocked out and all that stuff, and she like took photos and all that stuff too. So it was cool.
Good, good. I think that you that's going to have to happen. You
Right.
can't be a comedian in that same in the area where you work, and it's impossible, bro. You're gonna have they know, and also it'll make it more freeing to be like
Right.
a comedian. You ain't gotta like hide as much now. So that's
Yeah.
that's that's
Well,
that's good. That's good. But having your boss there, that could yeah. You don't want to draw too much.
it's I know, right? That's I brought it up at the top of performance. I was like, oh, let me acknowledge this real quick. I was like, all right, guys, my income depends on this performance. Uh, that's um yeah, I'm gonna bring it up in the annual review. I'm bringing up my annual review. I'm gonna bring up the performance. Like, well, as you can see, I'm an active listener. I really know how to rally the people around me. That's but yeah,
Oh,
shout out to that venue.
go
What
ahead,
was
bro.
that?
I was gonna say I'm
No,
comfortable
just
talking to people. I was just
oh yeah,
punching,
exactly. Yeah.
punching up. I was just punching up your joke. My bad.
Oh no, that's I'll take a punch on that. Hell yeah. Yeah, this and when you talk about like freeing, I never hide it. Like if someone were to flat out ask me, I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. I just don't. I guess in a sense, maybe it's by omission because in most interactions, I feel like if I'm interacting with like a friend or a new person, uh, I think comedy would come up more promptly like within the interaction versus
Yeah.
there's work people that I've known for like 2 years that don't know sort of thing. So I guess it is kind of like a hiding via omission. But if it comes up, I won't hide it sort of thing naturally.
You know, this podcast is public on YouTube, and
Yeah, I if it's funny because like if you search Kirk Griffiths, there's like maybe two clips of me doing stand up and the rest is proper Ebonics. So it's
if if you search Kirk Griffiths on Amazon, Spotify,
yeah,
iTunes, bro, you're everywhere. So it's like
I'm in the building.
like to think that they don't know. I feel like they even knew. They were just waiting for a good time to let you know
Could
they knew.
be. Yeah, truthfully, I did think about that part. I was like, oh, I feel like maybe. they do, but because I don't bring it up, they don't bring it up, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be. Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know if you ever get like sometimes on like Instagram, you'll get like a random, it's not a robot, but like a random profile that like is following you. And it's like, huh, I wonder if this is a person in disguise. But I'm like, that's elaborate. That is an elaborate way to go about it. But there's been a few times.
no, those profiles that don't have profile pictures and they're private, they don't have any pictures, they're following like 34 people. That's someone that's really keeping tabs on you that they don't want you to know who they are.
That's a wild way to go about it because it's like most people just wouldn't add them if like if say you're trying to like avoid people following you and you see a profile with no photo following 12 people and like they're following you, it's like at least put like some sort of like fake photo up there.
Nope. Nothing
Mm.
is better. Nothing is better. I know for a fact,
Well,
and I hope they're watching this. I know for a fact that I have women that have these private pages and these and they'll watch my stories and yeah, and just to see what's up with me, keep tabs. They may not even really want anything, but just to keep tabs because they women and I was a great guy, and I know that. Because like if we stop talking, then it'd be a random profile just start following my stories. What is this? Who is
yeah. It's,
like, come on. Like, come on, ma'am. I know that's you. You know what I
do you
mean?
think after your performance this Monday at City Winery that you'll have some faceless profiles following you? Because you were out there.
Yeah, that was crazy. I forgot you was there.
You were wilding out there, man. You're having a little bit too much fun. You're
Yeah, dog. I didn't know what I was getting into. Like, I really didn't know that this was a dating show that was put together like to hook up the audience with the comedians. Like, I didn't know that's what it was.
bro, they were
Like,
going beyond hooking up at that point. You guys were doing some moves. There are some physical attributes to this show right there.
we had to do the pop the balloon. You, me and the
Oh
partner
my gosh.
had to pop a balloon without using hands. So we had to use our bodies, and it got
You found a
crazy.
way. You found a way. You the way it's funny, and this is a wild thing right here, but like the way that you popped it is the way that I would have popped it, and I was surprised that no one else popped it that way. And I was when I saw you guys get in that position, I was like, finally.
Finally, someone smart as me is up there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a wild move, man. How did you feel in terms of I don't want to blow up your spot, but any sparks? And a lot of and no pun intended, shout spark, but like that's the whole intention of the show is to kind of match you up with the individual. Do you feel sparks in that way?
like I said, bro, I didn't know what I was getting into. My sole purpose as a performer is to perform, build my set. So I feel like I did grow as a comedian. I feel like my set got better. I feel like I was very funny. People come to me, tell me how funny I was. So I went into it for what a purpose, and I accomplished my goal.
Mm. That didn't answer the question at all, dog.
I accomplished my goal. Like I said, I didn't know, bro. I kind of felt bad. I'm not gonna even lie, because like like women were really in there, like looking for their husband, and like
For love, looking
I'm
for
really just
comedy love.
like for real. Like I didn't know. I had no idea. I just thought like when they say it was a dating show, I really didn't understand that. Like I've been telling jokes, and then people are on dates. I don't know. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't that. It was like people in the audience. It was women in the audience that like came there
yeah.
to
They advertised it as that. They did advertise it like, yo, come meet a single male comedian, which could be a selling point for some. For some, it's like, oh, let me not go to that venue.
But as a single male comedian, as a guy that produces shows and has for a long time, I do know that single women do come to comedy shows. Like when I'm single, like most of my audience and my shows be like chicks that like me a lot sometimes. So like I
Hmm.
get it, but I just didn't know what I was getting myself into. I'm not on that type of time right now. I'm just trying to get this album out, how I wanted to be out, and do that kind of.
You can't be
I ain't even focused.
distracted by these games, these balloon games. You got other stuff in mind.
I can't, bro. I'm just not on that type of time. I said I felt bad because they were looking for love, and I'm just trying to get stage time. You know what I mean?
That's well, it was a solid show, solid performances. You even got some bars in. That was clutch.
I freestyled.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy. That was you really did your thing on that one. That was nuts. Um,
They gave us all like index cards. They were like, okay, write a rap about your partner. And like the girl tried to give me your card. I was like, I'm gonna just freestyle.
It's
I was just freestyle, and it was like it was like 100% natural freestyle. Like I was thinking about things, but like I was like, I'm not gonna sit there and write. I'm not writing a rap about this chick. I'm good.
oh, she was a lovely chick. She was dressed very lovely. She had like the
She
hearts
was
on her. She
she
came
was
out there
just
for B-Day.
she was great, yo. She's a great person, man. As I said, I feel bad because like they were coming out there, they're trying to like get married and build lives together. Trying to like, get in these comedy streets and like get these punchlines together. Like it's just not really
They're trying to join you on
focused
the
on that.
journey.
No, they not. No, they not.
Uh, any updates that you'd like to share regarding the album? I see the pre-sale officially out there. People, go
Bro,
check the pre-sales.
we talk about a lot more next episode, but we're drilling down this one. But the update is it's available on Bandcamp. You can go to bandcamp.com, search Alan Massenberg. We got action.
Hmm,
You search it, it's gonna pop up. It is available on iTunes and Amazon for pre-order and all that, but I get the most bang for my buck if y'all go to Bandcamp. You know what I mean?
okay.
And on Bandcamp, you can pay what you want. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I did
um
see that. I also see that it's charting on Bandcamp for the
yeah, so I had
pre-sales.
like I don't even know. Like I had went to Bandcamp and I was like, like I was just searching my own thing. And like when you click like, how you can search the filters from
Hmm,
like best selling to like worst selling. Like when you click best selling, like my joint was right there at the top. Like it was like the third one down. I was like, oh, it's lit.
hmm,
Like so it,
nice.
it feels good. So it's like if I can stay on those charts until the album be officially out March 22nd.
Hmm,
That's the that's the official release date. And my birthday is March 23rd. We're gonna release it then, March 22nd. So Friday, we're gonna release it. So if the plan, I got a number in my mind of pre-sales that I want by then. And the plan is March 22nd. Once it goes live and all those pre-sales, the pre-sales that they're all gonna count on March
hmm,
22nd.
right.
So if my number that I want to hit go how I wanted to go, I'm gonna be charting on iTunes. And once I do that, y'all can't tell me nothing. I'm telling you, don't
Hmm.
let me go number one on iTunes, bro. Don't let me do it. I'm telling you, man. I
This
ain't,
thing's gonna get hectic out here. You're gonna
yo,
start wearing all leather.
yeah, I'm telling you, bro. I'm doing my Eddie Murphy Raw. Me and Robert Townsend. You know what I'm saying? We up next. Do
I'm
my
excited.
Raw.
I'm
Yeah,
excited for it, man. See what sort of charts it keeps climbing and all that, man. It's March 22nd. Get your pre-sales right now. Bandcamp, do the thing.
man.
This has been rad, man. It's this is a nice little Saturday. About to do my little chores and all that stuff. Is there anywhere that people could see you and all that for the next few days?
Tonight I'm at Joe's tonight.
Nice.
And then Monday I'm in Brooklyn.
Hmm.
Oh, it's a good one. Y'all listening? Friday, Friday the 23rd. I'm doing Don't Tell in Philly.
Ooh.
So can't tell you if I'm headlining it, but
Hmm.
you should do that. Come so y'all go to don'ttell.com, Philly or whatever in March, February 23rd, this Friday. Get tickets to that
Nice.
because they always sell out. Y'all want to go. And then February 26th is the Good Ones comedy show in Brooklyn. It means to leave
Hmm.
bad our monthly. So yeah, those are two ones, the big ones. Yeah, coming up.
Nice, man. Yeah,
You
I
got you
like
got
the
anything?
don't tell you can't tell anything. Yeah, that's wild. This Friday, the 23rd, actually,
Yeah.
I'll be back at the Candy Factory in
Woo!
Lancaster. Yeah, I'll be back in the building doing a set out there. Shout out to Matt Blank and the sixth floor of the Candy Factory. I told you I'd be back, and guess what, baby? I'm back. So
You
come
know what time the show starts.
I knew what time the show started. I knew what I'll take accountability for that situation because I was on two separate things. However, there was some factors outside of my hands, but that's the past. That's the past, and I'm back, and I'm better than ever. So it's gonna be a fun time out there, man. So check that out. Tickets online, and inbox me if you're curious to come through. The episode should come out before that, so it should be a good time, man.
Yeah, man. Go to the shows, check us out, follow, like, subscribe, share all the good things, man. We appreciate y'all for checking us out.
Yeah, man. Thanks for listening.
Peace.